My name is Helen, and I am 78 years old. Today, I want to share something very important, something I wish someone had told me clearly when I was young and full of dreams. When you are young, people often tell you how to live. They tell you what a good woman should be like. I listened to all of them. I believed them. I followed every rule without question. And now, at this age, I understand how much those lessons shaped my entire life. I got married when I was 22 years old. Life was very different back then. Women were taught to be quiet, patient, and thankful. We were told that love meant sacrifice and that asking for more meant being selfish. I believed that a woman's strength was measured by how much she gave and how little she asked for in return. So I became that woman. I said yes to everyone around me. Yes to my husband's needs. Yes to my children's demands. Yes to my parents' expectations. Yes to my boss and co-workers. I rarely said no, even when my heart felt tired. I believed this was love. I believed this was the right way to live. For almost 60 years, I tried to be perfect. I became a devoted wife, a caring mother, a loyal daughter, and a responsible worker. I married a good man. He was kind, hard-working, and dependable. He provided for our family and never raised his voice. I loved him deeply, and I know he loved me too, in the way he knew how. I supported his career without hesitation. I took care of the home, raised our children, managed every small detail of daily life, and made sure everything ran smoothly. I smiled when guests came over. I stayed quiet during disagreements. I told myself that this was what a good wife did. I was not unhappy, but something was missing. Late at night, when the house was silent and everyone was asleep, a quiet question would rise inside me. Is this all my life will ever be? Each time that thought appeared, I pushed it away. I felt guilty for even thinking about myself. I believed wanting more meant I was ungrateful. So I stayed silent and kept going. When I was 35, I finally spoke out loud. I told my husband that I wanted to go back to school. I loved literature. I loved books and stories. I dreamed of teaching one day. He listened and then gently said, "Now is not the right time. The children need you. Maybe later." So I waited. Years passed quickly. The children grew older. Life became busier. I asked again. This time, he said, "We need to save money. My parents depend on us. Maybe in a few years." So I waited again. The dream never completely disappeared. Every time I saw a school, a library, or a teacher on television, my heart felt heavy. I imagined myself holding books, standing in front of students, sharing stories. But responsibilities always came first, and slowly, the dream faded further into the background. When I was 55, his parents passed away. I thought, now it will finally be my turn. But soon after, our daughter went through a painful divorce and needed help with her children. I told myself, family comes before everything. So once again, I waited. At 71, my husband passed away after more than 40 years of marriage. Suddenly, the house became silent. No footsteps, no conversations, no shared plans. I ate alone. I slept alone. Some days, I did not speak to anyone at all. The silence frightened me. For the first time, I realized something painful. My entire identity had been built around caring for others. Now that no one depended on me in the same way, I did not know who I was anymore. I had been someone's wife and someone's mother for so long that I had never learned how to be just myself. About a year later, while cleaning old boxes, I found a letter my husband had written before our wedding. In it, he talked about my intelligence and curiosity. He wrote that he admired my love for learning and was excited to see what I would achieve in life. I sat on the floor holding that letter and cried. I cried because I finally understood the truth. I had slowly buried that young woman and her dreams. I thought I was being selfless, but in reality, I had been disappearing. At 72, I made a decision. I told myself, it is not too late. I was afraid. I worried about my age. I worried about failing. I worried about what people might think. But another voice inside me asked, what if you never try at all? That question changed everything. I enrolled in a community college. I studied literature, history, art, and philosophy. Young students sat beside me with notebooks and laptops. Instead of feeling out of place, I felt alive. My mind felt awake for the first time in decades. I also began traveling. At first, I took short trips to nearby places I had always wanted to see. Later, I traveled farther. I walked slowly, noticed small details, and enjoyed every moment. I was no longer rushing through life. I was finally living it. The hardest lesson was learning to say no. When my children asked for help, sometimes I said, "I'm sorry, I already have plans." One day my daughter said, "You've changed." I smiled and replied, "Yes, and I needed to." She did not fully understand, but she respected my choice. That was enough for me. Now, at 78, I finally know who I am. I am not only someone's wife or someone's mother. I am a woman who loves books, quiet mornings, and thoughtful conversations. I enjoy my own company. I travel when I want and rest when I need to. I say yes when I truly mean it, and I say no without guilt. Still, my heart carries regret. I spent 60 years waiting for permission that never came. I cannot get those years back. Sometimes, I imagine speaking to my younger self. I would hold her hands and say, "Please don't disappear. Please don't wait your whole life. You matter too. You are not selfish for having dreams. You are not selfish for saying no. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. Life will always give you another reason to wait. Another responsibility. Another excuse. Don't wait for permission. This life is not practice. This is your real life, and it is happening right now.